a $99 kitchen gadget might be the thing that saves your diet. And that's no exaggeration, right? It's an air fryer. And it is probably the simplest way to stop overthinking your meals and finally get your protein intake handled like a true pro. So let me backtrack because I think it's important to kind of talk about the history of where this idea came from because I wasn't always this organized. Now, when I was at Michigan State and I was grinding through my undergrad and graduate programs, I was like probably every other broke strength coach, right? We were working crazy hours, we were training hard, we were barely sort of scraping by, and there probably wasn't even enough time to actually really sit down to eat. Now, one of my influences at that time was a guy named Dante Trudel, and he's the guy behind DC Training. And he swore by this weird vertical air fryer setup. If you could think of it, it was like a George Foreman that stood upright, and you would toss your chicken into these little pre-prepared parchment bags. I thought there was no way that this thing was going to change my life. But actually, it kind of did, right? It set me down the path of actually more frequent meal prepping. Here's why. I didn't have to think about meal prep. I didn't have no giant Tupperware stacks or anything like that. Sunday night bulk cooking marathons, I didn't have to do any of that. I could literally just drop in like pre sort of thawed out frozen chicken breasts in this thing, hit a button, 20 minutes later, I'd have this fresh, juicy protein. I was absolutely in love with this thing. And it wasn't gourmet by any means, right? But it got me through some of my most insane coaching and academic semesters. Now, fast forward to now, and I've upgraded the process, maybe slightly. It's still ridiculously simple. I'd either go to Sam's Club, Costco, I'd buy bulk chicken breasts, sometimes in the vicinity of, 6 to 12, 24 chicken breasts. I'd pull them out. I put them in a freeze. I break it down into a freezer ready baggies, 2 to 3 chicken breasts per bag, and that's it. I don't even have to season them right there, right? And I don't like to season them because I like to have some variety in the seasoning that I use. Now I would pull one out of the freezer. I toss it into the fridge. That's my thawing process. And by the next day, it's thawed and ready to go straight into the air fryer. So 20 minutes later, I have perfectly cooked chicken ready to eat. Now the kicker is that this actually removes that decision fatigue. I'm never stuck asking, what's for dinner, Adam? Or scrambling ever for DoorDash. And if you got a family like me, this works even better, right? You can season each batch a little bit differently for variety. Maybe lemon pepper one day, teriyaki the next. I think people underestimate how much consistency with nutrition simply comes down to having a system, not willpower. You don't need to love cooking. You don't need to bulk cook in batches. You just need a system that removes some friction.